Hey everyone, Andrew Faldy here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look in the markets at what is working now. And we're not going to do this from the perspective of, well, it would have been nice if I had known that before. What we're actually going to do is we're going to do a follow-up of what I showed you back in September of 2020 about the RSI indicator and how you could use that to follow stocks, to grow your account, control your risk, be in things when they're moving and get out when they're not moving, okay? So what we're gonna do is a follow-up and show you what's happened since then, if you had been doing that, and then what that's called, that information is called out of sample data, okay? So we have an idea that we can see what could work, and then we look back in time and we see that it would have been great, and then we let some time go by and see, does it continue to work? That's called our out of sample data, all right? And over the years, I've collected a lot of out of sample data, and I've seen enough things move forward into the real world and work, and I've seen a lot of things move into the real world and not work, okay? And so this is one of those that I've confidently put into play a long time ago, and I've been following it live ever since. And I wanna show you now what it looks like out of sample, so you can start to build some confidence that simple ideas, when you combine a few simple ideas, you can have a very powerful result. And the few simple ideas are stocks that tend to move quickly, and indicators that allow you to be in and get out, control risk, have small losses and big wins, and then simple diversification of several different markets and the right time frame. Okay, simple ideas, but when you put them together, it's an exponential outcome and gives you consistency and good results. All right, that's what I'm experiencing live for myself. I want to give it to you and let you see how it works. All right, so let's get in and look at this out of sample data. Okay, so it's January 29th, 2021, and back in September, several months ago, we looked at the RSI indicator. That video is on YouTube. You should be able to find it. If you can't, let me know, because I would like you to be able to go back and see how this whole story has been unfolding. All right, so what I have is I have a chart, and we'll be changing the symbol up on that, but I want to get the indicator fixed first so you know exactly how that works. So this is the standard indicator here, the RSI 14 period, and by default it gives you this 30 period, or not 30 period, sorry, 30 level and a 70 level. And traditionally that's called oversold and overbought, as if the upper, like crossing the line or crossing back below, you can even see it changes colors and all these different things. Well, what we have found is it's more effective for momentum following. You can do other things if you want to use the overbought, oversold levels, that's great. But for momentum following, the better thing to do is buy above the 50, sell below the 50. A lot of other things work too. You can buy above 60, sell below 40, and many other different things. But really good risk reward, risk adjusted returns, consistency in many different markets, many different time frames. The better result is when it's crossing into strength, to own it. When it's crossing out of strength, not to own it. All right? And on top of that, intraday, so that hourly time frame, tends to be the best. 30 minutes is also really good, but you have a lot more transactions, and more transactions means more liquidity issues and slippage and commissions and all that. So hourly backs away from that. Daily is a little bit too slow. All right, so I'm going to fix this indicator to show us what that would look like. So we're going to make this a 50, and we'll make the upper one a 50. So we just have one line that we're dealing with. All right, and then ignore the coloring. Red doesn't mean sell, blue doesn't mean buy. It's just above and below. It will show you when we're above and below. And we're gonna make no other changes. What I believe is if you have to make a lot of changes for something to work, then it's probably not robust. Now, if you make a lot of changes for something to work better, and it works in a lot of different markets on a lot of different time frames over a long period of time, then maybe it's good. But if simple things work, that's what I prefer to have. All right. So when the RSI is above 50 and it's below, we buy, and when it's below 50, we sell. Okay, again, we looked at this back in September. Let's zoom out and show you where that is. All the way back here is when we looked at this. Well, Bitcoin is one of those things that's moved a lot since then. And what we can see is, as we zoom back in and go back to September, all right, we can kind of go near the end of it a little bit. So we see these buy signals, all right, is when there's a little blue arrow up, and then, the word buy is not there, but it shows you 50, and then sell is shown though. Okay, so the buy is here, and the sell is here, and the buy is here, and then the sell is right after it. It's actually right there on the next bar. And if it's bluish colored dotted lines, that's connecting the buy to the sell and showing you it was profitable. If it's red, so here's the buy and here's the sell that's connecting there, that means it was a loss. You bought high and you sold low. All right, so let's see, as the market is unfolded, this Bitcoin market, we're going to look at some other symbols too. In this, you can see that sometimes you get some false starts. All right, it's been going down and then it gaps up and you buy. And this is a big psychology moment here, kind of letting you know sometimes the first move, well, most of the time, actually a lot of times, the first move is going to start without you. And momentum following is you get in after it starts. And like up here, it gaps up and then you buy and then it keeps going and then you come down here and you sell. And in hindsight, say, man, I shouldn't buy after gaps. That's only one sample. How does it work over 5-10 years? That's what I want to know, not just that one time. Here, same thing. It gaps up, you buy, it runs up, it comes down, you sell. You have a tiny little game, you're like, oh man, I bought after a gap again. I don't really think that works. Well, let's just keep looking as we go. And here's the thing, if the market's going sideways or down, then there's not really probably going to be a lot of profits to be made there. You could try to buy the dips, sell the rallies, and make some gains, but the really big wins are going to come from those momentum trades. Having small losses. Notice that whenever we have those losses in there, sometimes they're so small you can't see them. You buy here and you sell in the very next bar. Or here is buy here, sell here, and it's almost a flat line. Almost a flat line means a very, very tiny loss. Okay, here's here, and then this is where we finally catch a nice little win. It goes from 11 to over 12, so 1142 to 12. Okay, and then it started to lose its momentum, so we got back out, but then it started to get strong again, then we get back in. Now we have a bigger win. Okay, so now it just dwarfs. You can't even see those tiny little losses back here when this win unfolds and you're able to ride it. Okay, and then we'll move along a little farther. And then, all right, there it is. So it's starting to lose its strength, so it gets out, but then the strength re-emerges, it gets back in. So right here you can see on the indicator, this is not some techno mumbo jumbo where it's like I'm seeing strength. What do you mean seeing strength? I don't understand that. Okay, I just want to know yes or no. All right, so no, right here, change colors, get out. Change back to the other color, get back in. All right, very, very simple. And you get to ride that all up. So look at this move. You're basically riding from 12 to 16, and this is an hourly chart, so that's only from October, what is that, October 15th, so about 2 weeks. You ride from $12 to $16. All right, that's about 30%, right? Pretty good. And then what happens? Ooh, it gets even steeper, even moving more. You get a couple little whipsaws. What can happen here? Sometimes you get those consolidations, they roll over and sell all the way back down. We'll just take a couple tiny little losses, waiting for the right move, get back in. Look at that move that starts. You missed the first bit. You say, oh, I'll wait for a pullback. It ain't coming. It ain't coming. There it goes, runs up. So now you rode it from 17 to 21. All right. What happened here too? Starts to lose its strength. You get out. That sell down, that could have followed through. Could have really come back down to earth. Everyone who just hates Bitcoin or whatever, all the haters be like, yep, see? Well, no, it just goes back up. Huge gap up, and what? You have to buy? All right. Doesn't work out that time. All right. And then you get the big move. All right. Not that's the big move, but we get some bigger moves. So we get some massive movement there. All of these up moves, I'm just going to let them ride on through. But look at this. Look at this correction here. You're out. You're not in that. You bought here. You sold here. Okay, again, the indicator's right there. I'm not making this up. Buy there, sell there, and then you're out during all of this. All right. And then, getting near the end of the chart here, this most recent, we had this big gap up. Today, it's correcting down, but your entry point's down here. A lot of people buying, a lot of people getting into the frenzy, and they're buying the open here, they're buying overnight, and then it's pulling back down, but you got in earlier. Okay, so that's that one. Let's see some other stuff. Tesla's been on the move, right? Remember, our accommodate, we want to combine fast-moving markets, things that are in growth mode, things that are changing the world. All right, that's great stuff to trade. Or I've checked literally, I've tested thousands of stocks. And the more you trade, the more smooth your results get. Your results ultimately will get lower and lower because you're just following basically the index. But higher beta names, hourly charts, RSI signals, good liquidity, higher price stocks. You don't want to be in stocks under $5. Slippage gets into that too much. All right. Oh, I missed something very important. It's one thing to show you a bunch of examples, but like, what's the math? How does the math shape up? All right. Here's how it shapes up. Here is September, right here. All right. This is RSI had been working all the way up to here, and then it's still working. Okay. Very nice, right? Let's pull up some of the names here. I actually have a little list here we can go through, but we'll just do this for now. So Tesla, I won't go as granular through all those trades, but I will just kind of set it up here. That had already happened, so that you wouldn't have been able to know about that yet. But let's see what's happened since then. All right, we have a buy and a sell. A couple whipsaws. There's a winner. A couple of whipsaws, little winner. Oh, it's a bigger one. Yeah, you just got out, got back in. And just kind of hanging around in a range. During some of these big down sells, you're not in. That weakness started before the big move down, and you were out. All right. And then looks like we got a nice big run. There it is. All right, that's what we're waiting for. Now you do this manually, it can get a little tedious. Follow a lot of different stocks, you get these entries, you get out, you get in, you get out. Months later, you never know when it's going to happen. But here it is. Look at that big gap. That big gap. Look, and then it's even selling down for an hour. Let's make this real, okay? When you have to watch things hour by hour, tick by tick, day by day, the reality of this, yeah, I get to just kind of scroll past and see, yeah, see it worked. But let's look here and see what we have to deal with. Massive gap up without you. You're not in that. Sells down hard for an hour and then you buy. And then what happened? Sells down hard for another hour. Man, can you just feel that? I felt it. Just looking at that, thinking about that. That's not very fun. You say, man, I'll just buy half a position. If we get a gap fill, I'll buy the rest. Famous last word. Not last word. You're just going to miss out. You're going to miss out. So just follow the strategy. If it works, it works. All right. Where's that? That runs you from 440 about up to 570. I'll take it. Starts to get weak, buy it again, take another ride. Okay. Now it's not showing a lot of strength, just kind of meandering, but you catch some wins, and then here's a nice big one from low 600s up to 798. I'll take it. Look at all these gaps. By the way, you say, oh, I'd sell up there. Yeah, sure. Would you sell there? Would you have sold that one? Would you have sold that one? Okay, just let it play out. All these times it gaps up and it comes back down, you give some give back. Yeah, sometimes it's going to happen. You could have got out. A lot of times that's just going to lead to another wave higher, and you don't need to mess around with that. Now, I do have another strategy where you can get out a little quicker sometimes, but that's for another day. We'll talk about that another day. But here's a nice move. I love this. This is great. A little strength developing. You get in before the gap, runs up, you get out. Look, and now it's selling down. All right. It's that simple. It's that simple. All right. Here's the part that's not simple. Okay, I want to make it real for you. I want to make you prepared in order to do this. We gloss over all of this, right? Buy there, sell there. Buy it, sell here. You bought up there a little bit. Okay, you gotta go through this. Look, 1, 2, 3 losses and a win. All right, but does that add up? Are you okay with 3 losses and a win? I wish I could. I don't know if that last one showed up. I feel like it wasn't on the screen. Sorry, I'll go back and show that. I'm not gonna play with you. I'm not gonna do smoke and mirrors and say, here's the wins I would have given you. Here's all the wins. I get to show you everything. But guess what? The math works out. I don't mind the losses, because look, where's September? Where's September? Right there. Okay, been working for years. September comes and goes, continues to work. All right, love it. Let me pull that GBTC out. I feel like it was out of the screen before. Yeah, there's that. So here's September. Here's continuing to work. All right. What else we got? Here's the more complicated one. I don't want to get too crazy with that. Great trade here recently. Buy there, sell there. Look, there's a little whipsaw. You got to deal with these too. You don't get this and get to skip all these also. All right. You get this, big win, small loss, out of the losers, out of the big losers. All right, those gut-wrenching sell-offs, just hoping it'll turn around. But here, it's been generally moving up, but not totally. Look, here's September. The stock price is at the same place it was before. This isn't necessarily just because the stock's going up, but what's going on here? Well, the P&L's not climbing, but hey, it's still working. Still working. I like it. What else we got? Amazon. I'll have to wrap it up in a second. I have to keep this one short today. Amazon really has not been doing a lot lately. All right. Actually, I like those kind of things. I like when things are holding. It's just feel like, is it too high? Is it too high? It's too high. And then it just sits there for a long time. The good news is you can be out. If it starts selling down, you don't need to be in. I don't have to predict if it's going to go up. But I see this a lot. A lot of times P&L just kind of gets whipsawed a little bit, then starts riding again. Gets whipsawed, rides again. Gets whipsawed, rides again. Here we are. Kind of chopping around, not giving us anything. Could just ride back up. Guess what though? This thing tanks hard. The stock, I suspect we're not going to see the P&L doing that. Okay? Because we'll be out. You can see it right there. Pull it up on your chart. Okay? When the stock is dropping, the RSI under 50 has you out right here. You sell here and you're not in this. It's not that hard. Now I've just given this to you. All right? It's all yours. I want you to know the way we think. All right? Simple things combined. Find good names. Stack them up with good indicators, good time frames. All right. So if you like this, I got a couple things for you. We have a community. We meet every week. We have another form of the community where you can come in once a month. We have signals. I have a watch list that show you trade by trade, things that I'm in, what I'm doing. Also have training. If you would like to fully automate your trading like I do, I don't like to take all those little whipsaws. I don't like to follow 30 different charts on an hourly time frame. I like to be in them, but I don't like to do them manually. So what I do is I fully automate them. If you'd like to learn about full automation of good signals like this, then you can check that out too. All right, but for now, I just want to impart you a little bit of this confidence building exercise that things that were working before can continue to work. And you can go look at the charts yourself, pull up all these different symbols, go watch that RSI video, learn a little bit more about this. There's a lot of other strategies, a lot of indicators, a lot more complicated things that we could talk about. But look at look how simple things could be as you control risk and grow your account. Let's start with the simple things and grow from there. All right. So love to get your feedback, any questions you have. I know I kind of flew through this. I may have not covered or been very clear about some things because I look at this all the time. But if you have any questions about how this works or what it looks like or getting involved with us, just let me know. I'd be glad to answer your questions personally. All right, but that's it for now. Enjoy your weekend, or whenever you're watching this, enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you all later.